Welcome to another episode of moneystream.com.au. My name's John, and today we welcome Jim Penman, founder and CEO of Jim's Group, with over 4,300 franchises in Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. Welcome and thanks again, Jim, for your support.
Yeah, good to be here.
Wonderful. Now, today's topic is people that are currently long-term employed, but looking to be their own boss. Maybe start a business, have some sort of lifestyle, which we all yearn for, but have never had any business experience. So what advice would you give, and how would they decide on what type of service business to invest in, Jim?
Okay, there's different ways of doing it. Obviously, I'm a fairly biased party, but franchising does have advantages in the sense that your chances of success starting a business full-time by yourself are fairly small, unless you're buying an existing business. So if you're buying a business that's already got clients, that gives you a startup. I actually started my lawn mowing part-time. I did it as a student, so I was only, originally I just did a couple of gardening jobs. In fact, $1.50 an hour back in 1970. That was my beginning. And then I got a lawnmower, but it was all part-time and I was not relying on it to make a living. So if you're starting out from scratch, it's actually not a bad idea to buy something that's already established or buy into a franchise. Just to give you some idea of the statistics, people who start lawn mowing, gardening business independently, the failure rate in the first year is around about 90-95%. And this is based on statistics. You can look it up online. There's a cleaning janitorial service in America that has this kind of statistics on it. So I'd suggest either start part-time or look at doing it, buying some kind of a business or franchise to get you off the ground if you need to rely on it to make a living.
Yeah, because and even in the last month or so, I've had people on my channel or people that know me and had a look at my channel, which I've forwarded on to you. Even they asked me, and there's still a couple other people. In fact, I met a gentleman the other day, a very, very hard-working single dad, and he's been in business, not this sort of business service. And he even told me, look, I think I'll get in touch with Jim. Like, he's working for himself again because COVID shut him down the first time lockdown last year. So he shut his business. He's working PAYG somewhere. And he said, look, I'll contact Jim because I'd rather do my homework first. So hence, people want to do something, even though they're working, because they want to get back into some sort of lifestyle. What about people say that, because also people get in touch and say, I'm scared to get into my own business for whatever reason. And would you be in a position, or does your model support, for example, people that want to work for your franchisees, PAYG, and then once they work for them, they might have a bit of experience, a bit like a cadetship or a traineeship, 6, 12 months, whatever, through your training, through your model, because it's so successful, and then transition potentially into one of the existing Jim's Group, mammoth group of businesses?
Well, they can certainly do that. The problem we have is that there's a limited number of employment prospects. A lot of franchisees don't employ anybody. Yeah. In fact, I would say probably most of them don't employ anybody. Some would employ one, and there's a few that would employ multiple. So, I mean, it certainly is an option. Somebody can just ring up our call center and say, you're interested, you're living in so-and-so area, you're interested in this kind of job, and they'll normally pass them out to the local franchisor to see if there's anybody interested in a worker. Yeah. So it's a way of going. I would say one thing, I know this is going to sound a bit strange, but one of the things that you can do, who wants to get in the business and wants to get training, you can actually show an interest in a Jim's franchise and attend all the training. Full business training, and it's only at cost. It's about $1,500, and then at the end of it, you say, like, I'm not interested in the franchise. I'll go off and do it myself. But at least you know what you're about. Yeah, it sounds odd, but I had somebody, we came for franchise or training some while back, and showing me, congratulate me, I just my first franchisee. And I said, oh, I thought you didn't go ahead. He said, no, I didn't. I started my own franchise chain.
Wow.
But we didn't mind. I mean, she came, she got the food training, franchise or training, and then went off and did it herself. I know a couple of people who've done that, so it's quite possible.
Yeah, no, look, because yeah, you know, for whatever reason, I know there's a lot of say people that have come from broken marriages, they've got kids, they might be scared for various reasons. I use the word scared as in, say, you know, they've got kids, they've got to look after them. They don't know if they can put it in, but sounds like the proposition you've made a great example. Yeah, people might want to do that, as you said, and then it gives them some sort of, a bit like going to school or uni or the old techs, where they do a bit of training and give you a bit of experience and support, because you've got all that support network. I watched some of your videos of some of your franchisees, and they're all saying the same thing, that the support in gyms, and even the people that graduate at your training, they all just love the support network. It's just overwhelming, and that, you know, that gives them confidence to keep going. Whereas, as you said, with the statistics, a lot of small businesses, you go out there cold, as you said, 95% of them fail. You know, just any old business.
But do bear in mind that when we put videos up, and this applies to any franchise system, we're not going to put anybody who's likely to fail. So
yeah,
there are some people who don't succeed. One thing I would recommend to anybody buying a franchise of any kind, including gyms, but anybody else,
yeah,
the most important single thing you can do is get hold of a list of current franchisees and ring as many as possible and ask them, because the law says, the franchising code, that you have to give a complete account of all the you have to give a complete list of all franchisees and their content. Now, if you don't get that, then you don't go ahead, because the whole thing is as crooked as hell.
yeah.
But if you do that and do your homework, and then people say, yeah, it's great, no matter who it is, then you've got a good chance. I would say the disclosure document and the rest of it is complete garbage. Virtually nobody reads those things. They're too complex and legalistic. But ringing current franchisees is one thing everybody should do if you're looking at a franchise.
Yeah, and always, and I think you've said it as well, correct me if I'm wrong, and I might have the words around the wrong way, find something that you enjoy and you're good at. You know, for example, I used to mow lawns, and we've spoken about this, you know, probably nearly 30 years ago. And even, I mean, I've gone to uni. Yeah, now I'm a law student. I haven't started my course, but I'm a law student eligible for law. But if I was, you know, really contemplating, believe you me, I'd be coming to you and I'd go back to mow lawns simply because I loved what I did. I just loved it, you know, the smell of the lawn, cutting the edges, finishing off and saying, wow, look at that green grass, you know, I've mowed it. Clients compliment you, and on it goes. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, if you do a good job, which most people do. So yeah, look, it's good. I mean, I mowed lawns for 15 years, and I've got a PhD, for heaven's sake. It's not as though it's
yeah, it's incredible.
It's that kind of thing beneath you. I think one of the greatest mistakes people make is they think they have to have a white collar job to be a good job. Look, you know, you take trees. I've got people in my yard. I've got a Jim's Trees guys, Alan Ireland, who's chopping down trees from my yard. He's charging something like $2,000 a day. Now, this is a business that you can buy into complete with training for less than $20,000. I mean, you look at that, $2,000 a day.
Yeah.
What paid work can you get into? And this is full training, everything. Now, admittedly, you've got to have a fair bit of guts to, you know, and a bit of a man who want to chop down trees for a living, because there is potential dangers in it. Yeah. I've never had anybody injured in my division so far, but still, it's a pretty amazing deal, isn't it? And that's just for nothing.
It's incredible.
Investigate the money. They're actually out there making money. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah. Well,
and yet when you put an ad in, a job ad, somebody paying $45,000 a year, you get 100 applicants, half with degrees. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
People are much a week as our guys do in a day, or less than our guys do in a day, and yet people queue up for that kind of job. Why?
Yeah, it's interesting, and again, it gives you merit and your brand merit, absolute merit, because I also meet, just like you would, I meet people anywhere in shopping centres or at the cashier. They're graduates of uni, a lot younger than me, of course, because I'm getting old now. But they're telling me 12 months, 18 months, they got degrees, double degree, they can't get a job, so they're working behind the cashier, which is no problem there, but they're just working casual hours, you know, 4 hours today. But as you said, $20,000 for a franchise, and you're making $2,000 today. If you do ROI,
Most divisions don't make quite that much. Your typical like mowing type business, probably you make on average being $2,000 or $3,000 a week. I mean that's more normal, but trees is particularly good.
Yeah. Well, given the case of the tree, the case study say of tree lopping, I understand there's risks in that, bit like window washers in those mega buildings in the city. But if you work out the ROI, return on investment, $20,000, and you made 2,000 today, and even if you make 2,000 3 days, I mean, wow, that's incredible. Seriously, it's yeah. But again, you know, it's not.
We've got unserviced work in trees. We're knocking back thousands of leads. We can't get them done. So it's not so there's no business around.
That's incredible. And also, as you've mentioned, you can't keep up with the gym's fencing. That's phenomenal. Apparently, you can't keep up with that.
Well, I've just done the check actually so far, John, and this year so far we are 32.8% unserviced. That's how high it is. Not quite as high as last year, but we haven't gone to spring yet, which is our busiest time.
Yeah.
So it's the demand for quality service is extraordinary, and people don't mind paying for good service.
Yeah. And I'm right behind you, because I know I've mentioned it quite a few times, and I'll mention it again. I've used your services, different divisions, and I can say hand on heart, 150%. I'd tick every box. That they're just very professional. And as you say, you don't mind paying more because you want the great service, and the great service you've got, rather than pay cheaper and then complain this doesn't done. So I'm on your side. So just to conclude, to give some people out there that may still have those question marks on their side, of course, you're in summing it up, you're more against, say, someone, because of the stats, of course, not yourself personally. The stats show that entering into a business, someone just starting their own little business, never been in business before, had a job for 20, 30 years or whatever in the same sort of PAYG. You're saying do some training. For example, you offer training, as you said, paid training, get trained, and then go out, talk to as many franchisees before you take the leap. And a bit like doing your homework and studying before the exam. Would you say?
That's right. Even if you want to go as an independent, do your research properly in that. And I mean, they shouldn't tell the franchisor that's what they're doing, but to go and just do all the experience and get the full training and go out on the road and try things, and then you can go and start your own business if you wish, because there's no catch to these kind of things. So do your homework is the biggest thing. I mean, mistakes I've made, John, in business is mostly from rushing into things without thinking too much, and I do it a lot, unfortunately. Perhaps a bit less than I used to. I'm slowing down a bit at the age of 69 maybe, but
gee, I'll tell you what, I wish I look half as good as you, Jim, at your age. It's incredible. I'd never put you at 69. Seriously.
I feel very, very fit. It's a very exciting time, actually. We're doing a whole lot of just changes happening. Over the next year, you'll watch this space, you'll see some extraordinary things happening in terms of software development and other areas too.
Yeah, no, I'm excited, and full credit to you. And God bless you. May you, keep going, because look, in all honesty, I don't know too many businesses, I'm saying I don't know, where they invite people to ring their franchisees, go out with them. Like, what an opportunity just there, It's a bit like sitting with a professor at university or with yourself. You're basically a professor with a PhD, and sitting with them, ring them up. Oh, can I sit with you? Like, what an opportunity. It's incredible. I'd encourage everyone to at least have a go, as they say, in the Australian spirit. Just have a go.
Yeah.
And give it your best shot.
We actually find the people who, the more research that somebody does about the business, the more likely they are to succeed. The best sign, one of the best signs you can have for anybody going to be great at business, is that they've got lots and lots of questions. They go out on the road, they ring a lot of people, they do their research. And I'm just astonished. People will commit themselves. Now, whether you go in as a franchise or whether you go in just to do it yourself, but they'll take this massive step, which has big costs, because even if you're just in a salary, you're making $1,000 a week, at least you're making something. So you're going into business for yourself. It's a big jump. I'm astonished that people spend so little time researching it.
Yeah, I'm on your side. I mean, through uni, and again, your PhD and so forth in history, you're doing some of that other research to do medically, which I'm really excited about. that maybe we can talk another time about. But yeah, I found that in my later age, when I did my Bachelor of Arts at Victoria University, I'd never been to uni, and I sort of studied and I thought, now a lot of people don't really do much homework study. They just can't, and I'm on your side, because when I sat for my first exam, I sort of got hit like, a bus, and thought, hey, you got to study, because if you don't know your stuff, how can you answer the questions? And it sort of backs up your claim. If you want to get into the business, but you don't ask questions, you don't go out on the road, you don't learn, how will you know what you're doing? Of course, you got 99% chance of failing, because you don't know what, I don't know what I'm doing unless I sit with you, sit with him, ask questions. So
yeah, I was not 99, it's more like 90 to 95% chance, but that's the statistics. But
yeah.
But look, we all make mistakes. I mean, just you pick my university study. I went to university to study sociology, and I got a certain amount into it, and I said, this is the biggest load of balderdash you can imagine. And so I gave it up and went into history instead. Now, the point about that is, if I'd done a bit of research and actually picked up some textbooks and looked at them, I wouldn't have made such a stupid decision. Now, as it is, I could change courses. It didn't cost me too much, except a few wasted terms and stuff. But still, you've got to do your homework no matter what you're going into.
Yeah. No, I agree with you totally, 100%. Look, it's very interesting. As I say, I get people from time to time. I had another person this week. So it's interesting how people assess their own situation. But I'm on your side, of course, and your brand dictates for all the success. Ask as many questions. In your case, you're offering a golden opportunity to ring the franchisees can go out with them, ask as many. I mean, what an opportunity. Yeah.
And even do the full training course at cost, everything, without signing up. That's the usual. We put in just the training. So great opportunities, and you can do that with anybody. Just do the research for sure.
Absolutely. All right, that wraps up our episode today, Jim. I want to thank Jim Penman, founder and CEO of Jim's Group, with over 4,300 franchisees in Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. Always helpful, always offering great advice. Check the links in the below, and you can contact Jim by email, book an appointment through his franchisees, inquire the training, and we'll see you on the next episode of moneystream.com.au. Thank you for joining us. My name's John.